I'm Terrell Turner, the host of the Food and Finance Show, and today we have talking to the leader of a great company in the virtual restaurant space. Because one of the things that a lot of people are really looking at is how do you innovate a industry that has been around for ages? Well, this company is definitely doing a phenomenal job of really taking advantage of technology, meeting the needs of people, and really innovating in a cool way. So you definitely want to stay tuned for this episode.
Welcome to another great episode of the Food and Finance Show, where we talk about two things we know you love: great food and money. So stay tuned because we got a great show coming your way.
So without further ado, let me bring in Paul Allen. Paul, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Terrell. Great to be here. Appreciate you having us on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It is a pleasure. Now, Paul, the virtual restaurant space is one that is, for some, it's a new concept. For others, they've seen the idea of it. So, Paul, when you think about, a virtual restaurant, how do you define it and explain it to people?
Sure. It's a great question. And, there's a lot of terminology that's used to describe virtual restaurants and ghost kitchens and commissary kitchens. What's really been happening over the past few years is what we refer to as the e-commerceification of food. And by that, we mean that people are becoming much more comfortable with using these devices and ordering their meals. And so the idea that people have to go to a brick and mortar restaurant and sit down to have their meal is no longer. And what many restaurants are choosing to do is to develop brands that are designed for delivery, where specific foods are selected and packaging is selected to enhance the delivery and take-home experience. And so what we set out to do, building NextBite, really on top of the original company that we started called Ordermark, is to develop these kinds of delivery-only brands. We have about 18 of them right now, including a couple celebrity brands. And then we work with existing restaurants to prepare food for those brands so that they can make more revenue. Yeah, it's a great win-win. And we're helping restaurants all along the way. We're not competing directly with them.
Wow. I mean, that is an amazing, I guess you would say, an amazing innovation in an industry where, like I said, I have some clients that are restaurants, and the competition, the margins can be a bit tight. And one of the things that they think about is like, hey, when you don't have enough customers that are coming in for your primary brand, like how do you backfill that empty space that they have? So it's amazing what you guys are doing.
Well, thank you very much. We're doing our best. We started Ordermark 4 years ago. We started NextBite 2 years ago, and all along our focus has really been how can we help more restaurants do better and adapt to changing consumer behavior. And we're grateful to have many thousands of customers all over the U.S. and Canada and Mexico. And with NextBite, many of them are earning tens of thousands of dollars additional revenue per month by adopting these virtual brands.
Awesome. I love it. Now, one of the things I'm curious about is, Paul, when people think about, hey, the career path that they're going to go on, not a lot of people, say years ago thought, hey, virtual restaurants is where I'm going to be. So how did you find yourself navigating into this, this segment of the industry?
Well, great question. My co-founder is a fourth generation owner of a very popular and famous restaurant in Los Angeles called Cantor's Deli. And he really has lived the restaurant industry since a very young age and understood when online ordering became a thing quite a few years ago, that it was going to take an increasing share of business for restaurants, and it was going to generate a significant percentage of revenue for restaurants. And so we really dug into solving the problem of how do you manage all these different delivery services in a seamless, easy way, and that's the order mark system. And what we recognized when we started the order mark business was that a significant number of our restaurant customers were also launching these virtual restaurants. And that's really for us what pushed us to explore developing delivery-only brands so that we could provide restaurants with the support, with the training, with the equipment that they need to be successful running those kinds of restaurants. And so my background personally has been about 25 years in the tech industry, mostly working with early stage companies. And although I'd worked in restaurants when I was younger and I love food and cooking, it wasn't an area I was setting out to get into. But to me, what's most important is working with great people, solving interesting problems. And fortunately, with both Ordermark and NextBite, we've been able to do a lot of those things.
I think that is amazing. I mean, because when I think about like my background, it's been more of accounting and finance from kind of the industrial manufacturing kind of perspective. And one of the amazing, I guess you say, things you kind of learn there is, really aligning the supply chain to the demand. And when I think about what you guys have done with the virtual restaurants, it's been a brilliant, amazing blend of matching the supply, the excess supply that was out there with the demand in the right place. And so as you guys kind of do that more, what is it like for the team at NextBite to really be able to say, hey, we're really helping people who had a problem solve it in a win-win situation? What's it like to see their responses as you're helping them?
Well, it's wonderful. I mean, it's what gets us out of bed every day. We hire people that love to work with restaurant operators and get fulfillment from helping them to be successful. And we have a saying: every customer, every time, no excuses. And we work very hard, both with services, providing services and technology, to help these restaurants in the past year and a half really survive and now thrive by diversifying the sources of revenue that they bring in. And so it's terrific, it's gratifying, it's a lot of fun, and it's a tremendous amount of problem solving, because what we do is deceptively complicated. There's a technology component for sure. There is a great deal of service work or support that's required of the restaurants. And then, of course, there's a huge creative component that goes into both the marketing of each of these brands' location, as well as the creation of the brands themselves, which spans creative design and copywriting and culinary talent as well. So we have a full-fledged test kitchen here in downtown Denver, and it's every day is something new, but we're having a lot of fun.
Awesome. I love it. Speaking of that test kitchen that you guys have in downtown Denver. So what is it like? I mean, when with the test kitchen, is it that people bring their concepts to the test kitchen, or are you guys just testing, tweaking new internal processes? Like, what happens at the test kitchen?
Yeah, great question. So we have a staff at the test kitchen that is constantly doing research and development on new brands. We're blessed to have a large number of celebrities that we're currently working with, and we're approached constantly by companies that want to collaborate with us to bring new brands to market. And so we have several teams that are just focused 100% on designing and testing new brands, which consists of menu development and recipe development, and then real world testing out in the marketplace, not just here in Denver, but it starts here. And then we also have a very large data team that's constantly applying insights and data to the brand development process, as well as the brand marketing process, which is a big part of what we do. We have 2 large teams that are focused on marketing all of our brands. So the test kitchen makes it real for us. We have all kinds of equipment there. We're constantly experimenting with new equipment and new ingredients, because a big part of what we do is simplify the process of preparing items on our menus. And that requires just a lot of testing of different products available in the supply chain.
Gotcha. Awesome. Now, I'm curious as you're being able to capitalize and help, other restaurants that have excess space, being able to, be part of this amazing supply chain. So
Yep.
how do you guys usually go about finding those restaurants, or how do those restaurants find you or raise their hand to say, hey, we'd like to be part of what you're doing?
Sure. Well, as I mentioned earlier, we have many thousands of customers all over the country. And so we get a great deal of inbound interest, both from those customers and the word of mouth that they generate. And of course, we do some advertising, and we have a large sales team that's constantly reaching out, having conversations, and trying to help educate and support restaurants. And so, we're in the, fortunate position to be providing services that are in high demand right now to restaurants of all sizes, and so we're again blessed, to work with a tremendous group of restaurant operators that are looking to grow their business.
Awesome. I love it. Now, if people are interested in seeing, hey, what's the latest, what's going on with NextBite, the exciting things that you're up to, like, where's the best place for them to find you online?
They can go to nextbite.io, nextbite.io, and there's a list of all of our brands there, celebrity brands, and our house brands. And they can fill out a form on the website, and somebody will reach out with more information and answer any questions they may have.
Nice. I love it. Now, when that first picture that's on the website, the it looks like macaroni with bacon.
Yeah.
Like, was there a debate internally, like, hey, all of these amazing food items that we have, which one are we going to put on the front of the website?
Good question. I think that's probably from our Monster Mac brand, and it's one of our most popular dishes. I mentioned data earlier. We use data everywhere to inform how we design our brands and our menus and even our recipes. So we're constantly doing testing to see what's resonating with the market, and it's not one size fits all. It's very often different items that resonate with different parts of the market. So.
Gotcha. Now, is there any particular dish that you've been like, hey, this has been one of my go-to dishes lately?
Boy, that's a great question. We have a new fried rice brand that is still in development, but is being launched shortly. And that's probably the very best thing that I've had, not just in our restaurant, but anywhere in quite some time. So that's currently my favorite dish.
Nice. I love it. Well, before we wrap up, one question that I always love asking every guest is, when you think about, the history that you have between the type of work you've done, you think about the journey where, from Ordermark to NextBite, and as you kind of look going forward is what the future entails, what are 2 pieces of advice and wisdom that you would share with other business owners in the food and the restaurant space?
Well, One thing that is certain in the restaurant industry right now is that change is inevitable. And so, I would just encourage anyone in the restaurant industry to be open to change and to be curious about that change that is coming, um, and to not be too rigid in their thinking, because the restaurants that did survive the pandemic were the ones that were able to diversify sources of revenue and to think creatively about how they were going to solve problems and enter the future. And so, that I think would be number one. And then the other one I think is it's related, but it's figure out both what you're really good at and what you enjoy doing, and then try to outsource the rest of it. Because operating a restaurant is a very difficult thing to do. It's tough to make a profit, but yeah, the people that are successful are passionate about the industry and they love serving people. They love food, and they love their communities, and there's a whole lot of passion wrapped up in all of that. And so I think that to be successful, you have to lean into the stuff that you're passionate about, and figure out areas that you can either hire other people to fill in, or you can outsource the work. So.
Awesome. I love it. Well, Paul, thank you so much for being an amazing guest. Thank you for joining us on the show today.
My pleasure. Thank you, Terrell.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode. If you like what you heard, don't be selfish. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and then share this with a friend, because you know a business owner that could definitely use this insight. So be sure to hit that subscribe button, share it with a friend, and turn on the notification bell so you get all the updates